Here they are, the Boston Bombshells. In 3, 2, 1.
The best leadership happens when you step away for 10 minutes.
This is Back in 10.
Welcome back, everyone, to Back in 10. I am Jen.
I'm Savanah.
On our last episode, we were talking about conferences, what to pack, our top 3 things that we always make sure that we pack. Mm-hmm. We talked about talking to your doctor, about going to a conference, about speakers and what we do with, all of the information and different note-taking tips and different things like that. So today, what we're going to be talking about is, what do you do after? Savanah, after a conference?
Yes.
There is so much information that you need to download, not only like from your noggin, but reviewing your notes and getting prepared and wanting to make sure that your doctor sees that the investment that they made in you and for you being out of the office for that amount of time was a good decision. Mm-hmm. So where do you start? What do you do?
I always like to start with my game plan. What was my game plan going into conference? What had I discussed with my doctor about the courses I was taking and or the vendors and industry leaders I was going to speak to? What did we decide was most important to go from the get-go? And that's where I would start with the game plan. Go back to your game plan. See if you've knocked off all of those bullets first, those discussions with the leaders, and get that all down in writing. Then you have your bonus plan. What other new and exciting things did you learn at this conference or this meeting that would benefit the practice and its success? So you have those 2 separate things. Priority, always going to be that game plan, and then the bonus stuff. That's the extra why for the investment. So let's look at that game plan and what was on that game plan. Did it involve the rest of the team? Was it financial questions that your doctor had that you were tasked of getting the answers for? Was it for patient outreach? Then when you've decided on how that is broken up, we get into the nitty-gritty of, okay, how slowly or how quickly are we going to implement this new knowledge? Who is it going to affect? Who is going to help me implement this? And most importantly, why is it important that it gets implemented? If you're unable to answer the why, you shouldn't be doing it. Then it just creates chaos and confusion and creates resentment among the team. So always have a why of when you're implementing any type of change. That's what I would do to start, Jen, honestly.
I love that.
Get it ready.
Yeah, I love that. And look, one of the things that you said was like deciding time frame, right? Like how quickly or how slowly you're going to implement this. And now one thing that, want to remind our listeners is you need to be realistic with that. It usually takes longer than you expect. I will say, in my experience, it usually takes longer than you expect, and that's okay. But you really have to get the team involved too, because you need to delegate some of those things. And I'll say, like, when you're talking about, the initiatives and your game plan and who's going to be doing this and who's responsible for it, your name should not always be the one that's responsible for it. Mm-hmm. So don't think that when you're going back that you are going to be the one that's doing all of this on your own. Have someone else be responsible for like that project. You can still be there to assist and support and help and be part of it, but it shouldn't always be you. It can't. No. It can't always be you. So I think that's another big part of it too.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to overwhelm the team with your excitement either. I know I've been there and I have learned from that mistake. I've come back and said, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome. And we're going to get this done. And this is how it's going to impact it. And we're going to do this. And we're going to do this. And it just keeps building to the point where no one wants to listen. No one's as excited as you are. Mm-hmm. They might have been like interested at first, but now they're like, oh, hell no. She is crazy. We're not doing all of this at once. I would save that type of excitement for your doctor. I would go back and say, look, this is what I'd like to implement. This is my timeline. How does that fit with
Mhm.
your timeline as dentist, owner, doctor?
Yep.
And go from there. Slow rollout. You can say,
Mhm.
you can high level exciting things to the team. Oh, I met this person. They do this. It was awesome. We learned this. It was very cool. Just don't tell them everything that's going to happen right away because you don't have a plan for it. If you
Right.
don't have a plan, you don't have to roll anything out because you can't. You can't. It
Right.
just creates confusion.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
think look, with that too, your excitement, you brought up that point, like when you come back, you're so excited, you're ready to go.
Yes.
You don't know what happened last week when you weren't at the office. So also be mindful of your team may have had a caca week because you weren't there to support them because
Yeah.
you were building things for the future, right? Which is excellent, but don't come in and just, guns blazing, lack of a better term. You're like, let's go, we're gonna do this and do that. They
Mhm.
need time to like adjust to you being back in the office, and you need time to adjust to be back in the office too. So
Mhm.
game plan is huge. Game plan, game
Mhm.
plan, game plan.
Mhm.
Love it. Yes.
And rolling out. So let's say you have your game plan all set up and it's your first implementation of change. We already said the why is so important. Knowing who it isn't affecting and who will be doing it. Um, and then creating mini SOPs along the way for the tasks involved for this
Mhm.
implementation. It doesn't have to be a full extensive like 5-page document that you do on Scribe. It could be a demo and a link to the demo. This is the SOP for this task. Watch this demo. Learn about this and then we'll get together next week and we'll talk about it. Involving the team in change is important. It helps them have more pride in their work and also ownership in the new change. It creates a camaraderie and a pride in their position that you wouldn't see if you didn't involve them.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. Man, look at that. Boston bombshell Savannah's dropping them over here. Dropping the bomb. Dropping the bombs. Yeah.
It's I mean, we've been there, right? I growing up in the dental office and not having a leadership position to start, when you're involved in big decisions and big change, there it's exciting. It adds to
Mhm.
that positivity. We want change to feel like growth and not feel like a barrier or feel like a burden to the
Mhm.
team, to the
Mhm.
team. Which also leads to make sure you have the time and the capacity. You don't want to be a 10-pound turkey in a 5-pound pan. You got to be realistic. I'm realistic about these changes, you know? Um, it could take you
You
6
know,
months before
I'm
you
telling
are able to implement anything. It could, realistically. You don't whatever's happened in your practice. It could take you 6 months, but it will happen. It will happen.
I'm going to digress real quick because
Digress.
on the last episode, we clearly have some poultry problems because last time it was roosters and now it's turkeys.
Now it's turkeys.
Now it's turkeys. I'm just going to I don't know. But anyways,
I'm not gonna
protein.
make a turkey gobble, even though like I have the chin that could be like blah, 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 blah.
Cut it out. Well, you just did it anyways, so there you go.
I'm so embarrassed.
Oh
I'll do it.
man.
I'll do it behind the mic so you can't see it.
Stop. Look, with change, I will say there's a restaurant that Savanah, you and I have frequented.
Mhm.
And they have a tip jar on the counter and it says, if you don't like change, leave it here. I love that.
Mhm.
It's just you're in anything in life, change is inevitable.
Mhm.
Everything changes constantly.
Yeah.
Everything constantly changes. The way
Mhm.
that you anticipate and react to that change and the way that you support others in that change, it's what's going to make or break the outcome, right? So as a leader, like you were saying, like understand the timeline, help to support your team. It's also a great opportunity for someone on your team to step up that might not have originally, right? And I think, look, you and I have had change in practices where we have been, and because of that change, we're here, right? So just change isn't always a bad thing, and just support your team, and just know that it might not go swimmingly if you haven't done a lot of change in your office the first time, and that's okay. Every single time that you try to do anything, it's a learning experience. You will learn something from it, whether it's good or it's bad. You're going to learn, and just go from there. And that's really that's the biggest thing.
And you bring up a really important point about supporting your team, making sure that they have the tools to be successful with this change. And the support doesn't stop when the change is fully implemented. You have to follow up with any type of change. Create the succession plan of change, right? How many weeks after change happens are you going to follow up with the team or the team members who are making the changes? Is it 6 weeks? Do you have a 3-month check-in, a 6-month check-in, a year check-in, and say, okay, we implemented this change and this process a year ago. How is it going? What are our metrics? Also important to include in your game plan. What metrics are you monitoring for any type of implementation of change to prove its success? We don't want to do things on feelings, right?
Right.
You might have a gut feeling that it's good. Awesome. Follow your gut. What can you back it up with? You need the data and the KPIs and metrics to be able to back up that gut feeling. If you don't, it's a gamble. Sometimes I don't want to take that gamble. I can't do it.
One of my biggest pet peeves, anytime that we had changes in an office, right? We have changes in providers, so patients leave. I'd always get the comment, well, a lot of patients are leaving. Well, what does that mean? What is a lot? Exactly. How many? Why are they leaving? We need to really understand, and you have to measure that. So don't, exactly like you said, make sure that you have measurable goals, know what those metrics are, know what the goals are that go with them, who's accountable for tracking those metrics. Do you have software? Are you reviewing it at Huddle? How often are you measuring those? Really getting down to that when you're implementing anything and understanding what that is before you even start is so important.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love change. Change is good. Change is hard. We're not saying that change isn't hard. There's going to be change that is hard. Even for you, even for us, for me. Look, gang, Savanah's been through a lot of change in the past 6 months, okay? I'm here to tell you, you will survive. You will make it through. You're going to cry it out. I'm going to cry right now. You're going to cry it out for a solid 24 hours until your eyes are blue, like these right here. And you're going to put your big girl pants on and throw on some lipstick, and you got this. And you're going to keep going. Change means growth. Growth is improvement in your life. Grow. We're here to grow. That's my soapbox. Okay, I'm going to go cry in the corner now.
I know, and I'm going to cry again. I love you, Savanah, and we are going to clock out so we can go cry. Okay, we will see you on the next episode of Back in 10. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Someone pass me a tissue.
Thanks for spending a few minutes with us on Back in 10.
If something made you laugh, nod, or feel a little more human, share it with a friend and make sure that you're subscribed.
You can also follow us on Instagram at Back in 10 Pod for more behind the scenes, updates, and probably a little chaos.
We're not here to have it all figured out. We're just here to tell you the things that we wish someone had told us.
And remind you that leadership doesn't have to be perfect, just real.
We'll be back in 10.